Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Live Better podcast. Today we are all talking about things that are related to money, mindset, and making life a little more centric. I'm your host, Kelly Green, and today we're diving into one of the biggest questions this time of year. How can I still have an amazing Christmas without draining my wallet? So the countdown's on. We've got less than 7 weeks until Christmas, and whether you're a budgeting pro or still recovering from last year's holiday hangover, this episode is packed with simple, smart, and even fun ways to save before Santa makes his rounds. We'll be joined with Casey Messer, our all-around trainer and guru on all ways of money-saving hacks. Right. So welcome to the Live Better podcast, Casey. You are no stranger to our podcast. What is this? Probably third, fourth time, maybe more that you've joined us. So love it. We're glad to have you here. So for our listeners who maybe this is the first time they've tuned into the Live Better podcast, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Centric.
So I do training here at Centric. Get to work with our new staff and our seasoned staff just to help them grow and learn more as things come on board. As we implement new things, I get to work with staff on all sorts of different things. Been with the credit union for about 10 years. I also worked in marketing and business development, and I feel like that really helped with the financial planning side of things. Really digging in there and learning some things. Gets me really excited to talk about what we're going to talk about today. It's just a little bit about me.
And you've been in many different departments here at the credit union. And one of the fun things that we get to work on together is really continuing education with our financial counselors, which is so incredibly important. Financial education is the heartbeat of our credit union. It is really important that our members have knowledge right at their fingertips. So just like you guys listening to our podcast, we also have helpful tips that are on our YouTube page as well. So it's a great, great way to connect. So it's kind of an exciting time, but sometimes financially it could be a dreaded time. So kind of tell me a little bit, are you a plan in October elf or a last minute Christmas Eve shopper kind of person?
Well, I like to be a plan in October elf, but I have 2 kiddos. And so sometimes that looks like I plan in October, maybe buy a few things early on, but then there's a lot of last minute shopping as well.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So where do you find that is, which piece of that, which side of that puzzle do you think maybe makes you feel more at ease?
Oh, definitely planning ahead. So when I find things I've already purchased, it kind of gives me that piece of a breath of fresh air. I've already gotten some of this done. So if I can do more of that, that makes me happier in the holidays.
So do you keep up with a spreadsheet of gifts that you're buying, or what does that kind of look like? Do you just keep a mental note? How does that work?
So it's really funny that question is brought up. I will take pictures of what I have bought so I know, and I can go back to my phone and say, okay, these are the things I bought. But planning beforehand, yes, I've got to make a list or I will just go crazy.
Yeah, same. So that I'm in the middle of this where it's, you want to be a plan in October elf or a last minute Christmas shopper. Well, so over the summer during a really big sale, a lot of us probably know, but we, get emails about it all the time, but there is a specific day that many people will, probably be familiar with, Prime Day. I happen to see a few things that my daughter, so they're preteens and teenagers, and, they're all about skincare. Well, so I'm, like to buy clean products for them, non-toxic as much as we possibly can. And they happen to have their skincare on sale. So I have made a spreadsheet because I'm afraid it's very atypical of me to be, shopping in the summertime, essentially, to start putting some things back along the way, just so the expense isn't so much in one particular month or so. But I'm really afraid that I may forget. So I'm going to have to go in. I made an Excel spreadsheet, but I'm still going to have to go back in and double check myself because I'm like, I don't want to overspend. That's my biggest fear of kind of, spacing it out over multiple months. So anyway, I think it's good for whomever, as long as you have a plan, I think, and you have an idea of how much you want to spend. That's the most important part.
And I'll say too, not necessarily starting this in October, but as you move forward, making a list and putting a number by everybody's name so you can see the total.
Yes.
And so that kind of goes to the beginning of the year planning, if you want to look at it that way. But it also gives you an idea of how much you have to save every month to reach that total. And if that seems a little off for you, well, then you have to take a step back and say, okay, well, I can't spend, $300 on every single person I know.
That's right.
That's extreme, but you really do have to look at it that way as an overall.
Well, and we are sitting right now just under 8 weeks until Christmas, which seems so wild. And when, right now, when this podcast airs this week, we will literally be just under 8 weeks. And it's wild to think about it, but I think there's still plenty of time if we're mindful and we think about more so of the experience versus just, the number of gifts and so forth. I think a lot of times some of the greatest gifts that I've ever received were really thoughtful and kind of right on time, specific to what I really desired and wanted. It wasn't necessarily the quantity of gifts that I received, but it was more like the thought behind it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can relate to that too. Yeah, okay. So kind of thinking about this too in this vein. So what's the funniest or most extra thing you've ever spent money on during the holidays? And it could be for yourself or for someone else.
I know I'm not alone in this, but I would say matching pajamas, even including our dog.
Yeah.
So those are just fun for me, especially like my husband. We find some fun print and we're all wearing it. I don't know, it's just fun.
So do you do this every year, or like are you guys set on this is what you're going to do?
It's getting really expensive.
It is.
I feel like Old Navy pajamas was the way to go, and now it's getting more expensive. So I don't know. We rewear, so we'll find something kind of go together, and it coordinates and it's fun, but. Yeah, we try to do it every single year.
I love it. I'm guilty. It's charged. We've been doing that since our girls were born. And it's just funny, but I never thought about it. I mean, growing up, we just looked a mess when we were opening up our presents, and the pictures looking back over the years. It never really was a thing. Yeah. We didn't care. But supposedly, I guess we've been influenced to do things a little differently. Okay, so if you had to describe your holiday spending style in one emoji, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. I would say there's a couple of different things that come to mind, but the little money stack with the wings is probably what I feel like. And I try to make that, I try to get better every year, but I do feel like it's costly, but it's fun too. So I would definitely say the little shopping bags also comes to mind.
So we need them. I'm with you. Mine definitely, it just flies right out, and it's just at the very end. Whenever we do this every single year, we always say, we're going to do much better than we did last year. Like this was silly for us to do this much. And if I could give any advice, when your kids are small and they don't really understand, the cost of gifts, the value of $1, don't worry about name brands, don't worry about trying to buy, filling up your living room or what have you with these toys and creating that experience. Because here's the thing, whatever you start, you have to continue or else there's going to be a major whoa, what's happening? What's going on kind of thing. So take it from me. I would have done things a little differently, to be honest with you. If, we had to go back and someone told me that, they gave me that advice, but of course I was just like, oh no, I want to make their first Christmas, their very first few Christmases, just all they can dream of and more. And I feel like I've kind of gotten beyond that. So I'm really thinking about what is the meaning of giving and why that's important? What values are we setting for our families? I don't know. Do you kind of feel the same way?
I do. Yeah, there's already been. My little girl will be 5 this month, and then my little boy is 6. So yeah, we've had those few Christmases where I'm like, okay, these are their first couple where you can just see that their eyes light up and you want to make it everything that it can be. But definitely it's very easy to go overboard with that. And then you look back and you say, okay, why they didn't need all of that,
Sure didn't. Because they look at it and they gravitate to one thing or the box that it came in.
Yes.
And that's a real story. I mean, I know we hear people talk about that a lot, but it's true.
That's very true.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of talk about some new things that are out and about. We've had this available to our members since the first part of 2025, but we have some really unique budgeting tools that are right at our members' fingertips, and it's completely free to use. So kind of share with us how members can really use our budgeting tools or really savings challenges to plan for thoughtful giving.
Yeah, I would say setting up just an automatic transfer, even starting now, even if it's $25 a week, whatever you can do, I mean, you can add to that outside of the automatic transfer, but using that tool alone will help you because you don't realize how fast it will add up.
Yes.
So that's a huge thing. And then the budgeting tools, to be able to just set up a budget or a goal, I should say, with our text alerts, it's going to tell you,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Kelly, you've reached this amount of your goal,
Uh-huh.
this percent, and it's really nice. It's nice to get that alert to say, okay, I'm actually reaching or heading towards my goal. And
Yes.
so obviously we're on a fast track right now. And so you want to make that as quick as possible. But anything that you can do right now to help yourself on an automatic state
Mhm.
standpoint is going to be helpful.
That's right. I agree. I love it. One to your point about the notices. So yesterday I got a notice that said, you reached 80% of your grocery budget. And I thought, thank you, Lord, that we are this close to the end of the month because
Yeah.
it's just going by so quickly.
Yeah.
And it just seems like towards the end of the year, like that final quarter, there's so many more expenses than what you typically see throughout the year. So anyway, just something to think about there too, especially when I know today we're talking about Christmas gifts, but we still have Thanksgiving in the middle of that. So if your primary goal or primary responsible for your huge meal, you may want to think about some different ways that you can kind of save for that as well, and maybe buy ahead too. So, okay, so we know that the holidays can be stressful. So what's your advice for keeping a peaceful mindset when money feels really tight?
Oh, I would just say to focus on or try to understand really what Christmas is about to you or what the holiday season is about.
Yeah.
Money can be stressful when we're talking about spending and buying for people. We talked about creating experiences over those gifts, right? And
Mhm.
so trying to focus on that. And for me, it's family. What can I do with my family during this time to make it even more special? Instead of running around stressing about,
Mhm.
have I saved enough money for buy the things? How am I going to do all this that I want to do for them? Think about different ways that you can do that and just kind of sit in
Yes.
that and let that be your peace. Because if not, it'll just take the joy right out of it.
And it can easily happen too. I love
Yeah.
the way you said that.
Yeah.
So you think about too, as far as how can someone recover if they do overspend, without feeling guilty or giving up on their goals? What is really something that you think they might be able to do if they do tend to have an overspending personality, or if they say, "Oh, wow, I'm listening to this, I already have overspent." So what do
Yeah.
we do?
Yeah. Well, I've been there, so I totally understand, and I can say this without, just don't beat yourself up about it. You can do something like a no spend January.
Yeah.
Try and take like the next month off of all the things, right? How can you really cut back for a month or two to just
Yes.
kind of reset and then plan ahead, like right then and there. Go ahead and start planning for the next Christmas because you know
Yes.
the feeling, and it's not going to be more powerful than right then to go ahead and plan.
I love it. And it's okay. We've all made those
Yeah.
mistakes before where we've overspent, but you just think Christmas is on the same day every year. Our Dave Ramsey financial counselor, Kelly Brantley, that's what she always says is that Christmas is on the same day every year. So that's really to our advantage. You think, okay, we know how many weeks we have to save and what are some ways in which that we can do that. And I genuinely believe, if you just have a moment where you just slow your roll a little bit, but then also thinking about it too is that you can go ahead and start putting some money back.
Yeah.
And you have to sometimes just say no,
Yeah.
just to go get beyond that. And so lots of things. I tell my girls this, if we say yes to something, we're going to have to say no to something else, whether
That's right.
that's with our money or our time. So you just have to kind of think about it and put it into perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is super funny. I love this. And I just want to kind of wrap us up with some holiday cheer here, put a little joy in your day. But what's your favorite money saving motto for the holidays?
Oh, I would say, and this kind of wraps up what we've talked about, but it's probably not about the spending, it's more about the meaning.
Yes.
And so I really tried to hold on to that the last couple of
I'm
years.
going to take it. I'm going to do my best to hold on to that too. Okay, so finish the sentence for us.
Okay.
The best gift you can give yourself this Christmas is?
Going back to what you said, I would say peace of mind.
Yeah,
Maybe a nap.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. Do that. Okay, here's some rapid fire things for
Okay.
you. Okay, so eggnog or hot cocoa, hot chocolate.
Oh, I would say eggnog.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the budget app or old school envelope system?
I would say the budget app, envelopes. Yeah, I don't know if I can keep up with that.
No
I
go.
feel like yeah.
I'm not a cash girl. I never have cash.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, our Centric app. Keep
Love
it all
it.
there.
That's right. Okay, Secret Santa or no gifts at all.
Oh, I think Secret Santa, just because I don't know, it's fun.
It is.
And maybe it's less, right, than having to buy for everybody.
One of the greatest memories I've ever had with our girls, and they'll tell you this to this day. I think it's just because they were a little bit older when we did this, so it's kind of like a core memory for them. But we did Secret Santa amongst us.
Oh, fun.
And, they had a budget. And, this is how much you can spend. And here's the time frame of when you can purchase. So we all, dressed up in these fun little things and went shopping, and we went to the same store. We had the same time frame. We had to be checked out around within a certain, time frame. And you had to buy something and be intentional about the person that you bought, that you were buying for. So that was really fun. We were that's a Secret Santa, but we kind of threw it in there as like, hey, you have a time limit.
Yeah.
And this is the deal. So it was a lot of fun. That's fun. Okay. And finally, is Santa banked at Centric? What do you think he'd love most about it?
I would say automatic savings.
Oh, absolutely.
I would think that would be the best thing. I think if you think Santa and all the elves he has to buy for, kind of put that into play in our lives.
Yes.
That's just the biggest tool I think that would be helpful.
I love it. I think that's exactly right. And you can do all those things and more right here with Centric. Our new Centric mobile app is really the greatest. I love it. I think it's a great way for you to connect any and all accounts that you may have at other financial institutions. But it's also a great way for you to set your goals and set your budgets. And you can set it for anything. Like we were talking about earlier, our grocery budget is critical, to have a name for that. And it's wonderful. If you name it, a lot of times it becomes a priority,
Well, and two, we didn't talk about this, but tagging your transactions inside to be able to go back and say, this is how much I've already spent on holiday spending, or on the gifts. You can break it down as much as you want to, I guess, on those tags.
That's right.
That's really helpful and insightful to see.
Yes, and it adds it up for you automatically. I love it. It's a wonderful way to do that. To find out more information about our mobile app, you can visit us online at mycentric.org. And Casey, as always, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
What a great conversation, and big thanks today to Casey Messer for joining us and reminding us that saving for the holidays doesn't have to be stressful or boring. Remember, a little planning goes a long way, whether it's setting up a Centric savings account or using our budgeting tools, joining one of our savings challenges, or anything else. We're here to help you reach your goals and keep your holiday merry and bright. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow Live Better wherever you listen. Centric is federally insured by the NCUA.